My girlfriend said, "Stop being so dramatic, it's just flirting," when I saw her give her number to a guy at an art show. I said, "You're right, I am being dramatic." Then I did something so dramatic it destroyed her online image, crashed her career, and left her sobbing to her friends. What I did next? When she said it, "Stop being so dramatic, it's just flirting," I actually laughed. I laughed right in her face. Not because it was funny. Not because I found any part of that sentence remotely okay. But because that's what my body did when my brain was too stunned to react properly. My name is Tyler. I'm 31. I live in Chicago, and until last Thursday, I thought I was going to marry Jenna. We were at this weird little art show in Logan Square, one of those warehouse gallery things where the wine is boxed and the people speak in metaphors. I was never really into that scene, but Jenna loved it. The pretentious vibe, the weird installations, the energy, whatever that meant. I went because she wanted me there. I was standing near the back of the gallery, sipping cheap wine from a plastic cup and staring at a painting of a screaming goat in a bathtub, when I saw it. Jenna was across the room, talking to some guy in a brown leather jacket and way too tight jeans. They were laughing. Close. Way too close. Then I saw her pull out her phone, smile, and hand it to him. He tapped something in, she giggled, and they hugged. A full-bodied, two-arm, cheek-brushing hug. Not the casual kind. I walked over, not in a rage, not even loud. Just quiet. Controlled. "What was that?" I asked, trying to keep my voice even. She looked surprised. "What? You just gave that guy your number." Jenna tilted her head and rolled her eyes. "Tyler, stop being so dramatic. It's just flirting." Something cracked inside me right then. I don't know how else to describe it. It wasn't a break. More like a snap. "You're right," I said quietly. "I am being dramatic." She smiled like she'd won. Like I was about to back down. But I didn't. That night, I went home, sat down at my desk, and got to work. See, Jenna had an online following not huge, but big enough to matter. She styled herself as this authentic voice of modern femininity. Kind of a lifestyle influencer meets relationship coach. She had sponsorships, a Patreon, a TikTok series about emotional integrity and modern dating. She'd made a whole brand around being a loyal, grounded partner. Her followers adored her. They called her wise. They called us relationship goals. So I gathered receipts. Screenshots of texts she'd sent other guys. DMs she forgot I had access to. Little flirty comments on her own alt accounts that she used for following edgy people. It was all there. I didn't need to exaggerate a thing. I just packaged it. The next morning, I created a burner Instagram and TikTok account. I called it Emotional Reality Check. I posted everything. No commentary. Just her own words. A stitched-together video showing her giving out her number to multiple men, clips I had from old story highlights, gallery openings, bar nights, little events she begged me to go to. Turns out, I wasn't the only one filming. Then I added the final piece, a stitched clip of Jenna saying loyalty is non-negotiable in a relationship from one of her top TikToks, followed by screenshots of text from 3 different guys in her phone saved as Matt, Corey, and Uber Art Guy. It blew up. Fast. Within 12 hours, Emotional Reality Check had over 50,000 views. By the next day, sponsors started pulling out. Her followers turned. The comments went from queen to yikes, girl what, and this you. And Jenna? She went silent. Then she posted a crying video. Classic apology angle, no makeup, red eyes, whisper voice. It didn't work. By the 3rd day, she deleted all her accounts. Just vanished. I didn't reach out. I didn't block her either. I just waited. A week later, I got a text from one of her friends. "She's not eating. Can you talk to her?" I didn't reply. Because for once, she could sit in the discomfort she'd always told me to communicate through. Let her explain emotional integrity to herself in the mirror now. It was dramatic, sure. But she was right about one thing. I am dramatic. And now, so is the end of her career. It took 3 full days before Jenna showed up at my apartment. I was halfway through reheating a slice of leftover pizza when I heard the knock. Not the kind you ignore. It was that urgent, uneven kind, not loud, but definitely not friendly. I knew it was her before I even looked through the peephole. She was standing there in leggings and an oversized hoodie, eyes red, hair pulled back in a messy knot that looked nothing like the effortless kind she posted online. No makeup, no filters. Just her. "Can we talk?" she said softly. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "Talk about what?" Her lip trembled, just slightly. "You didn't have to do that. You humiliated me." I laughed. Actually laughed. "I humiliated you?" She opened her mouth, then closed it again, like she was trying to figure out what version of herself she needed to be in that moment. Calm? Angry? Sad? The mask didn't fit anymore. "I lost everything," she said finally, voice breaking. "My following, my income, I had sponsors lined up for the fall. I had a panel at South by Southwest, Tyler. You also had 3 guys saved in your phone with fire emojis." "That was nothing," she snapped. I didn't sleep with him. You gave your number to a guy right in front of me, I said, voice flat. At an art show I didn't even want to be at. You flirted like I was invisible, then called it harmless. She took a step forward, like she might try to come in, but I didn't move. That video, you made it look worse than it was. I didn't make anything, I said. I just posted the truth. Your words. Your clips. Your lies. You build a whole image off being a loyal, empowered woman. Turns out, the empowerment stopped when your ego needed validation. Don't do this, she whispered. I already did. We stood in silence for a minute. She looked around like she couldn't believe the place was exactly how she left it. The same thrift store couch, the old record player in the corner, the cracked tile near the fridge. Same apartment, but different people. Everyone thinks I'm a fraud, she said. I had to delete everything. I shrugged. Maybe you are. I don't know. But I know you were willing to risk our relationship for a cheap high. You thought flirting was harmless. I thought honesty was harmless. Guess we both learned something. Tears welled in her eyes. She wasn't even trying to stop them now. I messed up, she whispered. But you didn't just break up with me. You destroyed me. I nodded. Yeah, I did. She stared at me, like she was waiting for some flicker of softness. Some old part of me to crack open and say, okay, let's fix this. But that part died the moment I saw her hand her phone to another guy with that same fake laugh she used on me when we met. I tilted my head toward the hallway. You should go. Tyler, please. I'm not your rebrand. Find someone else to fix your image. She didn't move for a second. Then she blinked, stepped back, and turned. No big exit. No drama. Just the sound of her sneakers on the hallway floor and the soft click of the stairwell door. I closed the door and leaned my forehead against it for a moment. Not because I missed her. Not because I regretted it. But because for the first time in years, I realized something I never said out loud. She never loved me. She loved the idea of me. The stable boyfriend. The camera guy for her behind-the-scenes shots. The plus one who made her seem grounded. And when that illusion cracked, so did everything else. That night, I slept with the windows open, the city noise in the background, and no unread messages from someone pretending I was enough. I wasn't her mistake. But she sure as hell was mine. The weirdest part? I didn't feel guilty. Not once. After Jenna left my apartment, I waited for that wave of shame to hit. The part where you replay everything and wonder if maybe you went too far. But it never came. Not when her friends started unfollowing her. Not when I saw her name trending for all the wrong reasons. Not even when she posted that apology video with the shaky voice and blurred mascara, whispering about growth and mental health. If anything, I felt calm. Like I'd finally put down a weight I didn't know I'd been carrying. But not everyone was so chill about it. 2 days later, I got a DM from someone named Calabrand Collab Manager. She worked with one of Jenna's sponsors. The message was professional, almost polite. Hi Tyler, I know this is unusual, but I'm trying to understand what really happened. Jenna's story doesn't match what's circulating, and someone sent us your posts. Would you be open to a conversation? I ignored it. Then another came in. This one from a podcast producer. Some relationship show I'd never heard of. We'd love to hear your side. You'd be anonymous. We think your story speaks to a larger conversation about digital relationships and performative loyalty. I ignored that one too, but I couldn't help laughing. Jenna spent years trying to go viral. It took one 3-minute montage of her own behavior to finally break through. And then, just when I thought it was over, Jenna posted again. She came back. A new account, new vibe. Soft healing, muted colors, sun flares, long captions about betrayal and being silenced. She didn't mention me by name, smart, but it was clear what she was doing. Sometimes people lash out because they're hurting. Sometimes they try to tear you down because they're afraid to grow up. I forgive him. I forgive him. Like I was the one who cheated. Like I was the villain in her redemption arc. And for a second, one small second, I almost replied. Almost. But I didn't. Instead, I did something better. I sent the final video. The one I hadn't posted yet. The one I never really planned to. It was short, maybe 30 seconds. Just her, drunk at a birthday party 2 months ago, sitting on my lap, laughing into the camera. Babe, she said, leaning in, tell everyone how loyal I am. Like, painfully loyal. Like. I wouldn't even look at another man. I didn't say anything in the clip. I just raised my eyebrows. She laughed harder. You don't believe me? Ugh, rude, she slurred. You're lucky I'm yours. That was it. That's all I needed. I posted it with no caption. Just the date. Within hours, it blew up. The comments section turned feral. So this is what loyalty looks like? She really thought she could gaslight the whole internet. Girl, your acting career isn't taking off. Sit down. She deleted the new account within the day. And me? I didn't celebrate. I didn't dance around or gloat. I just ordered Thai food, turned off my phone, and watched a movie alone in peace. Because while she was out there trying to rebuild her brand, I was finally rebuilding my life. Quietly. Privately. No filters. No curated captions. Just real life, without the show. And for the first time in a long time, that was enough. It was a Sunday afternoon when my phone buzzed with a message from Alex, one of our mutual friends. Well, formerly mutual. Alex, yo. She's in the group chat saying you're unstable. Want me to screenshot? I didn't answer right away. I was sitting at a park bench, watching a couple of kids chase a soccer ball down a hill. It was peaceful, a rare kind of silence I hadn't felt in months. I didn't want to ruin it. But curiosity got the better of me. Sure. Send it. 2 minutes later, my screen filled with screenshots. There she was, right back in our old friend group's chat, the one we used for birthdays, game nights, dumb memes. She was playing victim like it was a sport. Jenna, I'm just saying, if your ex tried to ruin your career with out-of-context videos, wouldn't you be upset? Jenna, he's spiraling. He needs help. This isn't normal behavior. Jenna, I'm honestly worried about him. I hope he finds peace. I let out a breath. Not a sigh. Just air. That's what it felt like, empty air. She's still in there? Alex, yeah. They're mostly ignoring her. Cool. Because here's the thing. A few months ago, that would have wrecked me. The idea of Jenna turning people against me, controlling the narrative, painting herself as the innocent one. I would have gone on defense. Sent a bunch of texts. Explained myself. No? I didn't care. She had already shown the world who she really was. And once people saw behind the curtain, they didn't forget. Her curated image wasn't coming back. Not fully. The sponsors? Gone. The speaking gigs? Silent. And the fans? They moved on to the next shiny person online. But Jenna? She was stuck in the past, still trying to rewrite it. 2 nights later, I ran into Jamie, another person from that same circle, at a grocery store near my apartment. We were both reaching for the same box of cereal. Tyler, she said, surprised. Hey. Wow. It's been a minute. We stood there awkwardly for a second. Then she said, I saw the video. The one with the party clip. I braced myself. Yeah. Jamie looked at me carefully, then nodded. It was overdue. That caught me off guard. I must have looked confused, because she smiled a little. She's been like that forever, she said. Always playing both sides. You just finally exposed it. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. Jamie gave a small shrug. Anyway, I unfollowed her. That was it. No big moment. No dramatic apology. Just quiet, honest acknowledgement. And for some reason, it felt better than all the viral views combined. Because while Jenna was busy trying to fix the optics, the truth had already done its job. It didn't need edits. It didn't need spin. It just needed time. And time was finally on my side. It had been a month. 31 days since I posted the last video. 27 since she deleted her second comeback account. 17 since our mutual friends stopped pretending to stay neutral. No calls. No texts. No pop-ins. Honestly, I figured that was it. That she'd finally accepted the silence. Let me be. Moved on. Then, late one night, a Tuesday, around 11 p.m., I got the message. A single text. No name attached. Do you ever miss me? I stared at it for a long time. It wasn't the question that threw me. It was the number. I recognized the digits. Not her main line. This was the old number, the one she used in college. Back before sponsorships, before the filters, before she started calling herself a brand. I never deleted it. I don't know why. I didn't answer right away. I just locked my phone and sat there in the dark, listening to the buzz of the city outside my window. Horns, sirens, the hum of the train a few blocks away. Then another message came in. You probably hate me. I get that. I've been thinking. About us. About how we started. And how we ended. Still, I didn't reply. She sent one more. You were the only person who ever saw me. Not the version I posted. Just me. And I destroyed that. I don't want anything from you. I just needed to say it. I sat there with the phone in my hand. Not angry. Not shaken. Just still. She wanted closure. Maybe she even deserved it. But something in me knew. If I answered, even one word, it would open a door I'd already nailed shut. So I didn't. Instead, I opened my notes app. Typed out one line. Not to send. Just to say it. You didn't lose me because you flirted. You lost me because you lied about who you were. Then I closed the app. Turned off my phone. Rolled over in bed and let the night pass. Because I didn't miss her. Not the version I knew. That girl. She only existed in the quiet moments. Off camera. Off brand. Before the likes. Before the captions. Before the followers. And she let that girl die for a clout-chasing ghost she couldn't even live with. I didn't need revenge. I had peace. And in the end, that was louder than anything I ever posted. 3 months later, an envelope showed up at my door. Real envelope. Real stamp. My name, written in that loopy handwriting I hadn't seen in a while. Jenna always wrote like she was signing a guest book in the 1800s. all swirls and elegance, like even her letters needed an aesthetic. I almost threw it out without opening it. But something made me pause. I sat down, slid a knife through the top, and pulled out the card. It was an invitation. Not to a wedding. Not to a party. It was for a panel. Reclaiming your narrative. Authenticity in the age of online shame. Below that, featuring Jenna Hartley, speaker, advocate, creator. And in smaller print at the bottom. Private reception to follow. We'd love to have you there. No hard feelings. I laughed. Not bitter. Not angry. Just laughed. This was her comeback plan. She wasn't trying to rebuild her old image anymore. She was pivoting. The villain to victim pipeline. The redemption tour. Now she was the woman who'd been digitally crucified. Not because she cheated, but because a man couldn't handle a powerful woman. The irony was incredible. Because if there was one thing Jenna had always been allergic to, it was self-reflection. But now, she'd branded herself as the face of it. I bet there were sponsors lined up already. Hashtags. Speaking fees. A whole healing aesthetic built on pretending she'd grown. There was no RSVP card. No +1 section. Just the assumption that I'd show up. That I'd sit in the crowd quietly. Watch her spin our history into a TED Talk. So I did what any unstable, spiraling ex would do. I showed up. But not to support her. To end it. The venue was in Wicker Park. Sleek. All white walls. Low lighting. Half the guests holding little plastic cups of wine. Same type of space we used to walk through when we were still relationship goals. I stood in the back, unnoticed. She walked on stage like she owned the place. Same practice posture. Same soft-spoken tone. Same look she always wore when she needed the world to believe her. I want to talk, she began, about what happens when someone weaponizes your truth. People nodded. A few clapped. She looked good. Polished. Poised. Rehearsed. What they didn't know was that I still had the final piece. The audio she left on my voicemail that night, she sent the text, the one that started, "Don't ever post this," but, followed by 5 minutes of confession. Regret. Panic. Admittance. She said she knew what she did. That she'd ruined it all. That she wanted the fame more than the relationship. And that she used me as collateral. I hadn't shared it before because I didn't need to. But now, she was building a new kingdom out of half-truths. So when the panel ended and she walked down from the stage, all graceful and glowing, she spotted me. Her smile faltered. Just slightly. I gave a small nod. Then turned and walked out before she could reach me. That night, I posted the audio. No caption. Just, for context. It wasn't angry. It wasn't loud. Just honest. The comments came in slow at first. Then fast. Wait, this doesn't match her speech. So she did lie. Damn. She's still playing the victim? By morning, the redemption arc was over. And me? I got a coffee. Walked down to the lake. Let the wind cut across the water while the world did what it always does, moved on. I wasn't interested in dragging her down. I was just done letting her stand on my shoulders. This wasn't revenge. It was closure. Real, final, irreversible closure. The kind that doesn't need applause. 2 weeks after the audio dropped, Jenna vanished. Her new page went dark. Her website redirected to an error screen. All the YouTube videos gone. The panel recordings got pulled offline. Even the link in bio she'd plastered across her socials just disappeared. I didn't expect a thank you. I didn't need one. But I figured that was the end. Then, just when I was starting to forget the shape of her voice, I got a call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. When I finally listened to it, I had to sit down. It wasn't Jenna. It was her mother. "Hi, Tyler," the message began, soft but cold. "I don't know if this is still your number. I don't even know what I'm hoping to accomplish. But Jenna's not well." There was a pause. "She says she doesn't blame you for what happened. But I think you should know, she's been lying to all of us. Not just about you. About a lot of things. I didn't move. I didn't even blink. She's staying with her aunt now. No phone. No laptop. Nothing. We found out she was fabricating parts of her story. Her therapist says it's a trauma response. I don't know." Another pause. "She told people you threatened her, Tyler." That one hit. "She told some of her friends you manipulated her into deleting her accounts. That you used her private journals to blackmail her." I felt my jaw tighten. My palms went cold. I just needed to say it out loud to someone. That I know it's not true. We all do now. "I'm sorry." Click. That was it. No request for forgiveness. No cleanup. Just the facts. I sat there for a while, staring at my coffee, trying to decide what I felt. Anger? Maybe. But mostly, I felt done. Done trying to prove I was the wronged one. Done carrying the weight of someone else's story. I deleted the voicemail. Not to forget it, just to let it go. Let her keep chasing a version of herself she could live with. I was done running from the one I already had. Because I'd made mistakes, sure. But I didn't lie. I didn't fake loyalty for attention. I didn't turn heartbreak into content. I didn't trade a relationship for applause. She did. And now, with every lie finally exposed, she was left with the one thing she always feared most. Silence. No followers. No audience. No curated version of events. Just her. And for the first time since that night at the art show, I wasn't in the middle of it. I was free. I didn't tell anyone when I moved out of the city. No Instagram story. No goodbye drinks. No new chapter caption. I just packed a small truck, gave my landlord the keys, and left Chicago behind. 6 months had passed since Jenna's downfall. A quiet 6 months. No calls. No texts. No drama. Just long days, clear skies, and the kind of silence I never knew I needed. I ended up in a small town on the edge of Michigan, not too far from the lake. Big enough for decent coffee, small enough that nobody asked what I did for a living. Which was good, because I wasn't sure how to answer anymore. Ex-boyfriend? Viral whistleblower? Guy who once took down a social media brand with a few TikToks? None of that fit. Now, I was just Tyler. The guy who fixed up old motorcycles in the back of a rented garage. The guy who walked to the diner every morning and ordered the same black coffee and egg sandwich. The guy who no longer needed to be anyone else. Every once in a while, someone would recognize me. Weren't you the guy with the video? I'd smile politely. Yeah, that was me. Then I'd go back to eating my sandwich. They'd always pause, wait for some dramatic follow-up. Some gossip. Some bitterness. But there wasn't any. Because that chapter was done. What happened with Jenna? That was real. That was pain. But it didn't define me. And it sure as hell wasn't going to follow me here. One evening, just before sunset, I sat on the porch of my little rental house, watching the light fade through the trees. There was a breeze, soft and slow. Somewhere nearby, someone was playing guitar. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to the bottom of my saved voicemails, past all the ones I never deleted. I hovered over Jenna's mother's message, the one where she finally admitted it all. Then I hit delete. Not because I needed to, but because I could. Because I didn't need proof anymore. The truth had already done what it needed to do. And me? I was finally living a life that didn't need an audience. No edits. No applause. Just peace. And that was the real ending. It was a Thursday. Quiet. The kind of day where nothing urgent happens, and you start to believe maybe the worst parts of your life really are behind you. I was alone in the shop, oil up to my elbows, rebuilding the clutch on a '92 Honda CB750. Classic bike. Good bones. The kind of project that keeps your hands busy and your head clear. Then the bell above the front door rang. I wiped my hands on a rag, walked out front, expecting a local, maybe Gary needing another tune-up or some teenager trying to sell me used tools. Instead, it was a woman. Not Jenna, but someone who looked familiar. Taller. Dark hair, meat bun, designer coat, big sunglasses. She didn't belong here, not in this dusty garage on the edge of nowhere. Can I help you? I asked, keeping my tone even. She took off her glasses slowly. I'm Jenna's sister. I blinked. I didn't even know Jenna had a sister. Half-sister, she said. Different moms. I wasn't really part of the whole online empire. I just watched it happen. I waited. She didn't move. I'm not here for drama, she added. I just wanted to say thank you. Now that threw me. Excuse me. You saved her, she said. Not in the way she wanted, but you stopped her from becoming something even worse. I crossed my arms, unsure where this was going. You came all this way just to tell me that? No, she admitted. I came because I wanted to see if you were real. I tilted my head. What's that supposed to mean? She made you sound like a monster, the sister said. Controlling. Obsessive. The kind of guy who destroys women because they don't worship him. I believed it for a while. Then I saw the videos. Then I saw the way you didn't respond when you could have. How you never posted again after that last clip. She paused. Monsters like attention. I didn't know what to say. I went to see her last month, she added. She's still not okay. Still spinning. Still trying to rewrite everything. But for whatever it's worth, I think you did the right thing. I think you probably saved a lot of other people from ending up like you. We stood there in silence. I looked down at my grease-stained hands, the worn counter, the stack of invoices that needed sorting. This was my life now, small, grounded, real. Why tell me this? I finally asked. She smiled faintly. Because I don't think she ever will. Then she turned and walked out. No fanfare. No dramatic goodbye. Just a soft gingle from the bell as the door shut behind her. I stood there for a long time afterward, not thinking about Jenna, not even thinking about what her sister said, just letting it land. Because maybe that was the point all along. Not to burn her down, not to fix her, just to stop the lie. And now, even the people who used to love her the most were starting to see it. I looked out the window toward the road, where her sister's car disappeared around the bend. Then I went back to work. Because the engine doesn't care about the past. And neither did I.